COINTELPRO is happening today on many different levels and is a lot more sophisticated. And in fact, it doesn't need to be a secret anymore.
I believe that it is our ability to transform that repression into meaningful discussion, because it's not just about us saying, well, we need to take the state head on. It is also to engage people in reflections in their homes, in everywhere, to think about not what historically has been done because of COINTELPRO, what is being done right now? How is COINTELPRO really the rubric for the Patriot Act and many aspects of Homeland Security?
If it was COINTELPRO then, it's probably COINTELPRO now, maybe a different version or a different name. The same practice is to eliminate, intimidate, incarcerate, and terrorize a people.
Certain kinds of searches that were illegal or unconstitutional, now under Patriot Act, they can be done.
If you're involved in radical politics, if you're involved in certain forms of even civil disobedience, that you might be charged as a terrorist in this particular country.
In Puerto Rico, there is, I believe, a growing movement to really understand the role of the FBI, particularly with the assassination of Filiberto Ojeda Rios.
The FBI pursued Rios, an independence movement leader, for 15 years after he failed to appear for sentencing on robbery charges. On September 23, 2005, the FBI murdered him during an assault on his home in Puerto Rico.
That led many people to really question the role of the FBI.
What they call this great green scare of the last few years, the radical environmental movement, for lack of a better term, this was showcased as being an example of so-called domestic terrorism, although I don't know that it's ever been shown that they hurt anyone. Now the people who are the most serious, most principled activists are in a position of being made into examples of the cost and consequence. Disproportionately harsh, ridiculous sentences, if you want to think about it, under the rubric of terrorism.
Now, under the Patriot Act, there doesn't even have to be any crime. People can just be investigated. And guess what? They get investigated because of their politics. They get put on lists. They get under surveillance. There's all kinds of things that happen to people. They can be whisked off into prisons that no one even knows where they are. They can be tortured. They can be brutalized. These are the things that were being done under COINTELPRO as well. But the government said they weren't happening because they were illegal. They could have been charged for violating the law. But now, that is the law.
There are young people looking for answers. And there are enough victims of COINTELPRO around from the 60s and 70s in every community to warn young people of the traps.
There are yet people who have raw wounds walking around from those years. And as long as those wounds don't heal, and as long as society doesn't let them heal, there will be another generation who sees those wounds and will take those wounds personally and will make the future revolutionaries who will, we hope, link up someday to people from the other continents who are also oppressed and maybe make for a little improvement.
The organized resistance and claims for social and human justice, for political democracy, for economic democracy, have to go into the forefront, and we have to have broader and broader coalitions and stronger movements, and it has to make a political impact. And so we cannot just say, well, because it's hard, we can't do it. No, it has to be done. It is a long and protracted struggle, but you cannot abandon it, and you have to recognize, as James Foreman always said, we will win without a doubt.
The quest for freedom, the quest for equality, and the quest for community. And I think that that's something that systems of greed and oppression try to deny. And I think we have a right, but more important, a responsibility to take those things head on and to be part of building movements of resistance.
Ultimately, the only safety that we will be able to secure and pass along to our coming generations is not only to confront the nature of the reality reflected in COINTELPRO and comparable sorts of operations from Homeland Security or whoever, but to dismantle the system that gives rise to them and replace